Hello, in today's video, I'm going to talk about your personal color palette. Now, this might be something you've never really thought about before, or it might if it refers to your clothes or your home decorating or things like that, which is all part of the whole picture. And what I mean by your personal color palette, it's the colors that you are drawn to naturally. You might be a kind of person who likes olive green and mustard yellow and cream or beige, or you could lean more towards pastel pink, pastel blue, soft greens and sea greens, that sort of thing, or black and white might be your thing. Bright colors like vibrant fuchsia or bright yellow or teal, those sort of colors. So how does that apply to the art you create? Now, it doesn't matter what kind of art you create, you will probably find yourself drawn to the same kind of colors all the time. I know I am. And I'm going to show you some of the colors that I have in my home and in my life that reflect my personal color palette. So let's go have a look at those. Here's one example. These are the curtains that I made for my kitchen, and I wanted something bright and vibrant, and it's a very cloudy, dark day today, so it kind of interferes. And also, I've had them up for a while, and they're a little bit faded, as you can see through in here. But these colors here are part of my color palette. The bright turquoise, bright green, stronger colors. There's some red and some even up here where it's not quite as faded. You can see what colors they were to begin with. So there's one example. Here's another example. These are my everyday dishes. And you can see the colors in here. There's strong contrasts. There's purple, red, deep greens, bright yellow. This is a rich reddish brown. And my favorite, cherry tomatoes in this. I also love it that it's watercolor and it has the writing on it, so I couldn't resist this whole set. Here are a couple more examples. These dishes I bought in Switzerland years ago, and I love the dark blue, this deep vibrant blue against the white. Great contrast. And with this one too, we've got the same kind of colors repeated, plus the white background and the more pastels. Cool colors figure prominently in my life, in my style, and in my art. Here's a look inside my china cabinet. These soft colors are also cool, but they reflect the softer side of the color palette that I like. This pink is a little bit on the warm side, but these little pieces here are definitely soft and cool with this pale pink. This was my mom's set. It's a little set with a saucer and a little plate. And then there's this one, which I also love, with the dark blue, the white, and the gold. Here's another example of having your own personal color palette in your clothing. And my closet, as you can see, I've got these bright colors, some pastel blues, bright colors like that. My neutrals are all only black or navy. So that's why I have jeans. And then I've got bright pink pants. And you can see here by my tops, the only really warm colors are some of these pinks. And that was because I just couldn't find the brighter ones like this, which is more my style. The advantage of dressing in your color palette is that everything goes with everything. So what does all this have to do with your artwork? I'm not saying for a moment that you can't use all colors, but what I find for myself, and I can only speak for myself and make a suggestion, is that you'll find that you're a lot happier if you work in the color palette that really appeals to you. I have tried working in color palettes that just aren't my thing. And in fact, when I started watercolor years ago, I got a book from the library and it said you should get all these colors. And so I dutifully went out and got 2 or 3 browns, an ochre color, which is like a goldy browny yellow, olivey green, yellow, all these colors. By the end of the book, I thought, I don't even like these colors. So I had to take them all out of my palette and I went and bought the colors I like. And then it kind of took off for me because I was working in things that really spoke to me. I'm going to show you how you can bring that into your collages, your watercolors, your mixed medias, whatever it is that you like to do. And I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Here's a quick little example of something that you can do. This is something I've just been experimenting with. I got this little set of watercolors. My daughter was in England last year, and she bought me this set of watercolors, and they are Japanese retro gansai from a store called Choosing Keeping, which I want to go and see sometime. But I thought I would try some of the watercolors on this pages of this old book and see what would happen. So I just blended this one, this one, this one, this one, and just a tiny bit of this one over here, which that one I didn't actually like that much, but sometimes gray is just the perfect neutral. I thought what I would do with this is sketch something on it or tear it out and use it in a mixed media piece or whatever. But that gives you an idea of what you can do. But to my point, these colors are in my color palette. So is red and this deep blue as well. Brown, not so much, but sometimes you need brown. There's one thought. But to start with, I'm going to get out some magazine pages and papers. Now this isn't wet, so I can put this right on top. And these are very slippery. But you can see here how this soft mauve, the soft pinks, this soft green is totally in my color palette. This cream, while it's beautiful, is not really my color. However, this pink and white definitely is. And then we have odds and ends here. Again, I'd probably go for this one as closest, or this one, which are lovely. I tore these out of a French magazine called Marie-Claire Idée, and idée is the French word for ideas. And it's all in French, but it's all craft ideas. This one here, beautiful, beautiful. So you can see here my color palette showing up. This is totally in it. So is that. Lots of colors here. This to me is white, not cream. And these dazzling colors. So this is pretty, isn't it? My English mother-in-law used to make things like this. But beautiful colors. I love this pink. I love this pale blue. And these warm colors are stunning, but they're not in my color palette. However, this vibrant violet definitely is. So I can just go through pages in magazines, tear them out, and go, okay, is that my color palette? Now, there is no rule that says you have to work in your color palette. None whatsoever. But what I'm going to do is take some of these ones that I've pulled out of here, just pop those over there, and cut some pieces out of them. This is almost silver, isn't it? So let's start there. And then I want to match the paints to them. So there's that one, and I think I'll do this lavender one as well. And you could just tear these out. I'm finding that because they're in the middle of a big page, it's a little bit easier just to cut them. So there's some of that. Now, I've already got some pale pink, so I'm going to skip that. But I want some of this purple. I'm just going to take a little piece of it like that. And this pink, let's go with this pink here. Now you can do a whole collage using colors like this, but what you'll find is the ones that go the best together are the ones that are in the same kind of color family. So I like these green apples, and I'm going to go with this red and the silver, and that's enough for now. See, these will all work together. I've got a piece of watercolor paper here, and I actually don't think I'm going to use it, mainly because watercolor paper is kind of expensive. And I have this big book that I got from someone, which is not really good paper for, I think it's all dots. No, it isn't. Let's see, let's go back in here. I'm going to start at the back end. How about? Nice thing about this book is how it's bound, so you can actually just open pages right up like that. So I'm going to do that and get some water, and I'm going to probably be using some of this paint after all, just because it goes so well with the colors that I've chosen. So we'll just do a quick color palette with some of these, and I'm going to switch this out. And I'm just going to glue these in quickly. I'm not going to stick them down all over because it doesn't really matter. I just want them to have a space on the page. So that's good enough. Now all I want to do is get a brush, not that one. I will use this one. And what I'm looking for is the colors that go with this. Now I also want a little piece of scrap paper. In this case, scrap watercolor paper, which is getting pretty full, but that's okay. And so that I can just test the colors. So if I'm looking for this pink, well, this would be my first go-to. But sometimes colors don't look the same when you paint them on paper as they do in the pan. So you always want to be able to test them out. And let's see what we get here. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to use that one to go here. And I'm just going to make a circle. And with this paint, it has a little bit of opacity to it, which means it's a little bit solid, not transparent. So there's one for that one. Now, I'm going to look over here for the purples. That one looks like it might be, that's pretty darn close. So let me just get some more water in there. And let's do this one. I want it to be more vibrant. I just add more paint, less water. Perfect. Okay, now this raspberry color, I think, I know, I think I need to, I'm going to just weigh this down because it's flipping up and bothering me. By the way, this is a little journal I've been working on, just sticking things in, and one of these days, if you're interested, I can do a little flip through for that. It's pretty fun and it's pretty interesting. Okay, I'm going to use this palette just because I know what colors I've got in here. And I'm thinking this one looks a lot like quinacridone rose, I think. So let's just see. I usually have my paints on the same side as my water so that I'm not dripping across, but I'm kind of running out of space here. So this color, I think that one works. So what I want to do then is pick up more paint with the amount of water I have. So let's do that one. That's pretty gorgeous, I think. Okay, there's that one down. Now, this dark red, let me see. Let's try this color. I don't think so. No, I think what we need here is alizarin crimson. So this alizarin is a dark red. Yep. However, I need to pick up more paint, that is, work on it a little bit to soften it up, and then pick it up. Yeah, that works. Okay, this one will be the red from these sugar lollipops or whatever they are. Now this color is kind of an interesting one because you can make it with black and white or just black that's really kind of watered down. So for example, I've got lamp black here, which when it's thick, it's very black. But if I take the water out of my brush, oh, it ran into the red. Wasn't my intention. I'm just going to pick up a tiny bit. And you could make that into a passable pale gray. See? More water, less pigment. But I'm going to use this Japanese one. I think it's Japanese. Sounds Japanese. And this is already a pale gray. And this little sample that I did is here that came with it. So, but the same thing applies. Less water is lighter color with watercolor. So let's put that one in here. Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? I could even add just a touch of blue. But that's probably a little too much blue. So we'll leave it at that. Okay, now I have this apple green, which I'm going to use here. And again, I'm going to test it somewhere. It's pretty close, but I have some other greens. So this is more of a yellow green, I think. I like that one better. And this one's kind of, when it dried, it really cracked, which makes it a little bit harder to use, but that won't stop me. It actually comes out looking more yellow than it does in the pan. I'm just going to put in a little touch of this color too. So that, see, isn't that beautiful? Okay, now we have this pale lavender, and luckily I have a pale lavender, so I think it's going to work. And we're just going to see. Look at that. Let's turn it around. Very close. So we actually have three colors here. Almost white, a very pale lavender, and this. So I will start with the center color anyway. This is just a little bit pinker. It needs just a tiny touch of blue. Wow, that is so gorgeous. I think I went a little bit overboard with the blue. So we'll mix in some more of that lavender. And then I can take that and make another one here. This tiny touch of blue and some lavender. And that makes a more of a lavender blue color. Now I'm not going to take the color out of my brush, but look, a really pale one. So that gives you an idea of how you can make a color palette work, because you can see that all these colors work together because they're all cool or neutral. This one is neutral, and it's a cool neutral because I added a little bit of blue in it. And the rest of them, even though this looks like a hot red, it tends towards a bluish red rather than an orangey red. So think of cherries versus tomatoes, and you can get a feeling for doing that. Now, what am I going to do with this color palette? Well, next time I want to make a collage, I can use it and I could even pop these pictures out and put them in and then do a background in these colors, and everything would work really smoothly together. You can also add black and white and any other pens you have that go with the color family, for example, like these, and sky blue, turquoise. because they're all cool. Would I go with this one? No, I wouldn't. In fact, I almost bought the warm colors and I thought, why? I don't really like the warm colors, so I don't use them. So that made it an easy decision. I hope that helps to clarify how color palettes work. Another way you can do it is just take a picture of a flower in its habitat, that is, wherever it's growing, in a flower pot or a garden or in a field, and look at the colors that you can pull out of it, because they all will go together. And then you can use those colors to put together a piece of art, in whatever medium that you use, it'll all work. And have a look at these other videos too. I think you'll like them. And I'll see you next time.